What's up, this is Sebastian.
My name is Alex.
And we are Cazette.
We are here in beautiful Stockholm today in our studio where we're going to show you guys our upcoming single, One Cry. This track is rather unique in the way that we actually received a cappella from Ash, our manager. And it's a girl called BB Rexa from New York who wrote it and recorded the a cappella. And then we created a track around the a cappella, which is a fun way to work. But that's how that's how the track started. So we got all the inspiration from that, I guess.
Yeah, we actually did it together that time.
Yeah.
For once.
Yeah.
I think we started out with we were struggling to get the right chords for the a cappella since we just got the a cappella, no like instrumental things. We didn't know how the chords went, so we just did our own chords and we felt like that the a cappella had like a rocky vibe, but at the same time it had like some funky feeling to it too. I don't know why, but that's why we did a funky drop, right? It was not funky, but it's like big room funky. It's pretty weird. So we just did that maybe in like 4 hours when we received the a cappella and the initial idea, and then we went from there.
I feel like I have a hard time producing without actually if the melody is not right, I can't move forward because I mean it's music. It's all depending on melodies. So that's how it is for me. I mean, I know you work, a bit more with sounds.
Yeah, I'm like when I work for myself, like we usually do. Like I usually start with sounds first, no bass line, no melody, no chord progression. Really, I just like have something simple so I can just play around with the sound, and then when I have the sound, I do stuff afterwards. And that's usually how we do it. So then I send it to him. He can play around with the melody, or I do it. Like depends on. But it's always depends, like it's different from time to time. Usually there is just usually we just start with the chords and melodies basically, but because that's what this song is going to be all about.
These were the first chords that we built for the song, or the bass line, and then we kind of just it's weird, we started with the main melody, so to say, and then we created the verse and everything after. So we didn't start with the verse, we started with the actual drop.
Yeah. So it's just like a, simple bass, but this song, this is how we started. We're okay, we're gonna take this, and then we put the chords over it. So you can show the chords.
Yeah, I think we got them over here. It's kind of interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on. We'll go in more with that later.
Yeah, so that we put that over. And then when we put the chords over, it just sounded more, made more sense. Because the funk thing was just like, okay, we're going to take this. But then we put the chords over and it makes a lot more sense. And that basically became the melody too. We didn't do like a melody over that. Just like the chords
it's very simple. Yeah. I think it's important though when you make very simple melodies that stays within the range of all the chords. I think it's important to make the production interesting with other other detailed sounds, for instance, and maybe add some groove to it with some weird rhythms or percussion or something like that. And that's exactly what we did, as you could hear before, where we showed you the bass line. I think there's, let's see, yeah, we got this funky slap bass thing from, I think it's from Scarby, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Native Instruments Contact. Yeah.
We use Contact a lot when we want the authentic feeling for instruments. For strings and acoustic bass and guitars.
Drums too.
Yeah, sometimes drums. It sounds pretty standard.
Yeah, here it sounds like man, and doesn't give, but underneath everything it sounds really funky. You get that funk feeling, right?
And if you look at the EQ too, there's a lot of mid-range and there's nothing going on really in the higher frequencies, just so it won't disturb all the synths that we layered for the chords. Just some basic compression here to give it some extra slap, I guess. And we have also, let's see what this is.
Yeah, that's like the more, I don't know, distorted bass. Just
to give it more of an electric feel, I guess.
Yeah.
We have this disco string, right? What is this?
Yeah, I think it's a sample.
Yeah. So I don't know. It wouldn't really make sense to put something in there, but it worked really well with all the other elements. So we decided to keep it, and we have some guitars as well. Oh, that was silent. Why?
Maybe we're not using it anymore.
I don't know what that is. Oh yeah, it's like a voice shop thing for some reason.
Maybe it's filtered right now.
I don't know what's going on. That's the way though. Like we work with so many ideas at the same time, and we send stuff back and forth that sometimes stuff they just get lost, and we didn't even know we put it there to begin with. So it's like we can sometimes open project files and be like, hey, wasn't there a snare like that was like in the beginning that was pretty nice, and it's like where did it go? No one knows. Like so what else do we got? Yeah, there's
that's actually like a sample.
Yeah, that's
saxophone. So we just took that sample, just like meep, meep, like just a stab.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know why, but it just like it felt good at the moment. We just kept it.
Yeah, there's.
That's like a voice sample too.
So that's what like we decided to work with a lot of like small things.
And then like an electric guitar sample.
Yeah, there's. See if there's something else. No, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we got.
There's also a sample.
We use a lot of like for sampling. We only use built-in stuff that comes with FL, just because I don't know, it's so convenient and easy to add, and we've been doing it forever, so it just makes sense for us.
Isn't that a Vengeance loop sound though? There?
No, like we use the sampler from FL. You mean that?
Yeah,
right?
the sampler. Yeah, yeah. So the built-in sampler, the sample machine within FL is the one we use for like small things like that.
Editing the samples and stuff like that. Because I think we put a pitch thing on this sample. You can do that with FL sampler. It's super easy and
it's nice to play around with. Very easy. So I guess that's the story of like the main melody and the bass. If you listen to the acapella, let's see, make sure it's not. Can't work.
Here.
Oh yeah.
March into the drum of your broken heartbeat, and the world is weighing on you, so you drag your feet. Yeah.
Then we just put some effects over that. I think it's already delayed in the acapella, right?
Yeah, we got the original acapella we got was wet, and then we tried putting the dry one in, but it just, I don't know.
It just sounded better with the wet acapella. Sometimes we usually like dry acapellas, but this one really worked in the way it was.
We don't care that much about rules when it comes to that, because I know like certain people are like how can you put the wet acapella? Why didn't you use the dry one? Why? Because that's how you're supposed to work, because it's easier to cut, and you're supposed to put your own touch on it and all that stuff, and to make it fit in the mix.
Yeah.
But it's just sometimes if it sounds good, it just sounds good.
So was even the pitch huge on the acapella?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So it came.
Yeah.
So the glitching was already in there, so we were like, yeah, it sounds good. So we didn't have to really change anything. We just put some like EQ and compressor on, I think, and that was it.
Let's find out what we did to it. Yeah, this is like.
We actually have another 2 glitch.
Yeah. There's a few. There's a little reverb here, just built-in standard stuff.
And the sidechain, was that on the wet as well?
Yeah, it was actually on there too, but we decided to sidechain it once more to get that extra drive into it and to make it work with our beat a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, see, I think there's even automations for the sidechain going on somewhere down here. I don't know if that might be it. Yeah. Yeah. So this is
automate the sidechain right there.
Yeah, just some parts of the track where it's calmer, we just decided to just get rid of the sidechain. So let's listen through the verse, the first verse. I think the intro is kind of irrelevant in the case where we did very standard. I'll show you. It's just we got the simple like I don't know tom drum. And then after 30 seconds, it just goes into. Added some military snares, some pads. I think that's all. Yeah, that's Nexus for the snares.
Yeah, Nexus has some good stuff for the Hollywood expansion. It's like a really good like movie like movie drums or whatever you call it, and then you have like, you know, just like strings and stuff like that. It's really cool to use there too. But we really like the contact strings too. It's really nice.
Then, as you can hear in the background here, we added guitars because the vocal has this kind of a rocky feel to it, and we wanted to kind of maintain that. So we sampled, I think those are all like from a Vengeance pack or something as well.
I think you were sitting with the drums for 7 days to get it right?
Yeah, these are kind of tricky. We'll go through that. So you got a kind of I guess like a driving drum line going on, and it's easy. Like we didn't want it to sound too like mechanic, but we still wanted to work with samples. And then you got to work a lot with velocity of the drums and variations of the drums to get it to sound
and the
right.
effects too, of course.
Yeah.
To make it sound like real. And I think actually we managed to get that sound.
Yeah. I'm super happy with it now.
Not like the result now is really good, but like in the beginning we're like, oh, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
So let's go into a bit more detail on that. Then can you show us some of the effects, how you lay
Yeah.
the drums?
Yeah. Okay. There's this is gonna be like. Because we worked on this for so long that it's actually like, it's kind of messy, but we'll try and see what we did here. Oh yeah, we got something. Here we wanted to, just talking about rhythm, we wanted to, because the first word she's saying is rhythm, like, and we wanted to like get this like kind of marching, like military vibe of it.
And it goes like faster. So it's basically just builds and builds and builds all the time.
Yeah. And then it switches to the more like basic rhythm, but it's still like it's still got that heavy like, I don't know, like tom feel to it. And then it variates again with crashes and everything, and it goes back into that thing. So there's quite a lot going on, and it took us a long time to figure out how to keep it interesting. So you should not like never underestimate like the power of drums in like the way of, you know, keeping the listener like attached to the song, because it's so important.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go through the drums then. We first have this thing. Yeah, it doesn't sound like much. Actually, this is just 2 samples. Like a bass drum under it. Yeah, that's it for that one. And
We just have some reverb on that one.
Yeah, the kick. That's also just
This is like
reverb.
the more basic parts of the.
But that's not the whole
sounds.
thing about that. This comes under too. And
Yeah, here is some professional shit.
Yeah. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different samples. Yep. And I think they're all been tweaked in their own way. Let's see, 41.
It's just glitch.
This is actually a dry sample, which is kind of rare. No, wait, it goes into a send.
Yeah.
And here
Yeah,
we
we should do that. We put like drums on a bus later with, like, you know, other stuff. You know, EQ or depending on what we want. But like in this case, it's compressor, EQ. You know,
Yeah.
some reverb and like stuff like that.
Yeah, we use a lot of Waves plugins because they sound so very good. I mean, it's incredible, really. They sound as good as how much they cost.
Yeah.
which why it makes sense to pay for it, because it just makes it sound more expensive, and that's sometimes.
It just sounds real. You know, you can't. We use FL's own reverb too, but it's like. It's good for some stuff, like just doing basic stuff. We use a lot of FL's own reverb, but like to get that real feel, especially on drums and, you know, snares and stuff like that, it's just like you can't compare, you know, a true verb plugin from, you know, to FL Studio's own.
Yeah. Most of the toms goes through that bus. Not every not every single one, because some of the toms we wanted to just maintain. I don't know. Some of the toms we didn't want to lose any bass or anything. And when you add this room emulator, you lose some stuff, and it also adds some stuff. But let's compare. I mean, this is the sample, one of the samples, and without that, it sounds almost the same. So I don't know.
No, but it gets like you barely don't hear, but it's like gives it a little bit more room, and you know the tiny difference can make a big difference in the mix, right?
Yeah.
Like you barely hear it now, but like if you listen to the mix, it sounds more like real.
Oh, that thing is pretty. That goes into this.
So basically, we're just switching drums all the time.
Yeah, just to keep like I said before, like to keep the listener attached to what's gonna happen and what's going on. There's an.
So it keeps going, and then here in the build, it's like still keeps going, so like doesn't lose that feel, but it still goes smoothly until like a funky, more big room drop, right? So it fades out a little bit. Then it just goes to the snare.
And there's also more stuff going on. Well, let's go through the verse completely first, I guess, so we don't lose track of it. Yeah. We also have the. So that's all there is to the drums, is that we just put a lot of different drums in there to get that live feel.
Yeah, but when you use samples, it's like hard because it, like when you pitch it down, if you want to pitch it down a little bit, it sounds very plastic. You know what I mean? It just doesn't sound good. Yeah. So that's why we choose to have like tons of samples instead, to get that
like really fat.
Yeah, fat sound, and also getting it in other keys so it doesn't sound that plastic and weird.
Yeah. What else do we have? We got some pad things going on here. What's this? We usually do this. This is like a little, I guess it's like a easy little trick for filling out the verses. Is just add like a very low sine, playing the bass notes of the track. It just makes the verse sound warmer.
Yeah.
And that it's nothing complicated at all about it. It's just like a regular. This is the 3X oscillator. It also comes with FL, and it's just really basic. And as you can see, there's
like no effects to it.
No effects at all. It's just a sine form put in mono.
But we usually put that on bass lines too. If we have like a more harder like sound, with a like maybe like Nexus bass, silent bass, whatever we use, we put like always sine from the 3X oscillator underneath, so it just gets the more sub feel.
Yeah.
Because usually like the sounds that we do ourselves doesn't get that sine feel. If you put it up, the sound changes a little bit if you EQ it with more bass. So that's why we just put a sine underneath instead, and
to keep like the bass clean,
Yeah.
Yeah, here we got some chord stuff going on. This is also pretty standard like Nexus presets. But I think like it's important to when you work with because Nexus is such an established plugin for electronic producers. I feel it's really important to either layer the sounds or put a lot of effects on it. So it's not that obvious that you're using just a preset from a synth. This is just compressor and EQ, but it's three different.
Yeah, that's what Nexus is good for, using just pads and more warmer sounds that you can't really get from a you know, silent or, you know, massive. You can maybe get it, but then you have to like, you know, it's just easier sometimes to just find those warm sounds, since it's all like, I think almost every sound in Nexus is made in the virus. So it's like a hardware, you know, sound to it.
Yeah.
So it sounds just a little bit better, so.
Whoops.
Just goes underneath all the time.
Yeah. I mean, as you can hear, we definitely put the focus on the vocal and the drums. All the other stuff is just like kind of underneath. Just got some. Show you the see where's that vocal thing that we did in the build up.
This is how we do, like if you put like press the sample right there, like this is how we do it. See here, like because FL has that function. You can just like turn a knob and you can like adjust it, and then if you pitch it, it goes like up all the time, like and it falls along. Instead of just like cutting, because if a like vocal stab is just like maybe 1 bar long, you can just press that knob and do it in the piano roll.
So
and
it extends the sample basically. It loops the sound within the sample.
Yeah.
So it allows you to play it like in whichever key you want for how long as you want. Instead of if you have the sample and not use this function, it would die quicker if you play it in a higher note. So it's a pretty like.
So if you show like in the piano roll right there.
Yeah. So this
just
is
like we put like notes over it, so it goes like you know, it's a glide thing that FL has in the piano roll. So you can put that on samples basically.
This
it's like a legato like
portamento thing.
Yeah.
You can actually just in FL you can just double click any note and then add slide and portamento, and what that does is that you get that effect.
But in this case, it's like a knob you press right there.
Yeah, you can.
And you can just like put a note over it and it goes in that key when it goes up, like. So it's really easy. You can do pitch automations too. We do that usually, but like in this case with the sample, it just sounded better.
Yeah. And then it goes. There's 2 samples. We also have like a shop thing going on.
So we got da.
Just to add some rhythm to the build up.
Basically, just lies underneath.
Sounds pretty like silly when you play it by solo, but I mean it works in the whole production.
Yeah, we put the reverb on that one too, so when it goes up, it's just like a reverb fits in, like it comes in with an automation.
Yeah, just to make it a bit bigger, and I think that's an easy trick to like for like if you want bigger impact for your drop. I mean, it's easy to build it up with just like a reverb, expanding and expanding, and then just cut it off, and then you know. And then we have just one more thing, this piano automation, I remember. So it's kind of right before the drop, there's like to really get the last, like that last, I don't know, punch, I guess, from the from the build up. There's just a simple like volume automation of a piano chord.
So now it just sounds like this, but we do like a automation that goes like, so the volume cuts right down and it's like, woo, you know.
So as you can hear,
it comes right before it starts. Woo, we barely hear it, but it's just like woo.
Yeah, it just adds that swoosh before everything kicks in.
We really like to like play around with that stuff, you know, when you just like do like that kind of small stuff, just makes it, you know, even bigger. It just sounds better. Like without it, do you just play? Can you mute it?
Yeah, sure.
You know, it just loses that.
You barely
feel.
hear it, but
you don't hear that it's a piano going up, but it's like.
It just makes it work.
It just
better.
makes it 10 times better.
Yeah.
That does the trick, I guess.
Secrets of Cassette Part 1.
Then we have the leads in the drop that we
Yeah.
used. That's like
It's also
mostly Nexus.
Yeah, but like we said before, it's a lot about like layering and making it interesting. And then this is so ugly. But it just works.
So when you put all those together, it just sounds really nice. But individually, maybe sound like retarded or something. But like when you put it like together, it always sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some more stuff going on. This thing is like.
Yeah, this is a silent piece that we made. And it's just fun to play around with those stuff.
Yeah.
So it just sounds like a guitar almost.
It's also like pretty like simple, but I don't know. It just this thing we linked all of everything that's goes on in the synth is like we linked this pitch thing, so it would make it sound more, I don't know, just more live, I guess. Let's see.
So when you put that pitch thing on, it just makes it almost sounds like you compress something too much, because it like peaks like instead of there's no attack to it, you know.
Yeah.
So instead of just like having it like going it goes like it's like plucky, you know what I mean?
As you can hear here, like her voice is really like heavily sidechained here in the drop. Also just to give it that extra drive. This is like the second verse, I guess. And we kind of continued to work in that, like the funky note, on that funky note, I guess.
We usually like to bring it down a little bit after the first, like, since drops are like usually like that heavy, you want to bring it down again so people can breathe when you play it live or, you know, listen to radio or whatever. But this time it just felt good to just like keep going.
Yeah.
But not just, as you said, like just have a funky feel to it still.
See, we still kept, it's the same pads going on as in the first verse. I think we had there's another disco fill thing going on there. And yeah, this is rather, like, you can't really hear. This is like some second pad fill.
Just to have like a little more driving feel to it.
Yeah, it's the same thing there. Like, it doesn't really, like, you can't really tell when you're listening to the song, but it's there and it makes you want to continue to listen because you're like, oh, what's gonna happen, you know? Because why did he put that weird thing right there, you know?
I think those, like, when you do like very simple, like now it's just the bass line is pretty simple and like everything is very simple laid out. I think it's really important to have those details. It just makes it more interesting because, like, if I would listen to this and it wouldn't have those details, I'd probably be like, okay,
whatever,
like whatever, you know. But it just gets it interesting, basically.
Then it goes straight back into the, I guess, I don't know what to call this.
Chorus.
Yeah, second chorus, yeah.
Back to the tom drops again.
Yeah. Except this time it goes straight into this, like, kind of more of a, I don't know, even more driving pattern.
So this build is a little bit longer too.
Yeah. Also just to, I mean, people need to breathe.
Yeah. Then we build it again here. Basically the same thing on the second drop too.
Yeah, it varies.
I think we have a chord change though in the end.
Yeah.
It's just to vary it a little bit more because the second drop is longer.
Yeah, this is
Here.
I mean, it's
basically the same thing, but we switch some notes. You just like you don't get tired of it.
Yeah,
basically.
it's a really small change, but it just makes everything, I don't know, keep flowing, you know? Let's see what else there is. We got all the hi-hats and stuff. This is just, I think this is just like a loop that we chopped up.
This is also good with FL when you want to chop up loops instead of doing it in the audio like
window.
Yeah, audio window or whatever you call it. You can just take like it's a sample, like basically like a sampler. But when you put the sample like a loop in there, it chops it up automatically, and then you can take small parts of it. You can choose like how you want it. And in this case, we just like cut the first part here.
Yeah.
Stop. Stop, like that.
Instead of having it exactly as the original loop, where, as like I was telling before about the Nexus presets, it's just like, oh, that loop. And I mean, I hate that feeling when you listen to a track on the radio, or you're watching TV or something. You're like, okay, that loop.
Yeah, but like it doesn't really matter like for people, I guess. But like for us, it's just
for producers,
annoying.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe for producers, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I think we just like the snare thing on there, and like.
Yeah, here's a snare fills that goes through most of the track. Just see.
The drums is
plays a pretty big part in this track.
Yeah.
All these tiny little details.
Can you go on the beat?
Oh yeah, sure. Here we go. So this is the like I guess main drum pattern of the track. It's just basic like 4/4 beat, but I think this also shows like how important it is like that you choose your drums carefully, like because it's so simple, but like it's really like just like this kick just really worked for the song.
We actually used FL's own compressor and EQ for the kick.
Yeah, it's nothing advanced at all. We just give it a little bit more of a bass, and then the compression. Yeah, like we just played around with it till it sounded good, basically.
And the kick drum, we were like discussing about the kick drum maybe for like days about like what was the right kick drum, and then we just found one in the Vengeance packs, and it just sounded good in the mix, and we're like, okay, let's keep it to that. You know, we usually like we even have our own kick drums that we make in like the Vengeance Metrum plugin. But like in this case, this just fitted well, and the kicks that we made before didn't fit in mix. So it all depends on like what kind of track you do.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because I think we started out with some kick that we did made, and then afterwards like, it sounds like shit. Like let's switch it up.
Yeah. So the claps are they got, I don't know, there's like a little pre-verb or something.
I don't know what it called, like
pre-delay, yeah.
Yeah, pre-delay or something.
So you get like basically.
And there's a snare as well. Sounds so ugly when you play it individually, but whatever. Here is.
It's like I don't know. It's not. It's like almost like a top kick, but it's not.
Yeah.
That's the stuff we just put under sometimes. It's like we want like a little bit more, dirty feel to it. In this case, it's like. Boo, boo, boo.
Yeah, and it's weird too when you have like a creative flow. You just throw stuff in there to make it sound good, and you're like afterwards you go back and you're like, why did we do this? And then there's no logical explanation to why it sounds good, but it just sounds good, so hey.
Yeah, that's what we usually do. Like Alex went in school for engineering and stuff like that, and he learned some rules for mixing, while I don't really care about rules. I just like put stuff everywhere, and when he gets the product files, when we send it back for, he's always like, why do you put the compressor last and the distortion first and then this,
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to also like play around with mixing and not try to be like, it's good to have rules, because he, like I said before to you, like he cleans everything up later. If I can't take care of it, he cleans it up. But I think it's interesting sometimes to put stuff not in order at all, and just like see what comes out of it. Especially in like, when you make sounds and stuff like that, just put distortion first, EQ in the middle, and compressor last, reverb under the distortion. Just to get like
Yeah, but it's
interesting feels
interesting.
to it.
I think that's what really plays a really big part in our of cassette, that you do that, and I come in later and I'll be like, hey, let's make it fit, in the mix.
Yeah.
Even though it's like weirdly done. And we can go through the guitars, I guess. It's pretty, like, that's also like, we work a lot with sampling. I mean, I guess all electronic producers do, but... Oh, that's not it. There we go. So we have different variations of... sorry. And those are just like regular samples. We drew them through. You start playing like pretty like basic reverb and some cut-off bass. And as you can see, there's a lot of other stuff going on. There's like a lot of clap patterns and stuff like that. I think it's pretty like, I don't know, it's not that interesting. It's
just like things to just fill it out a little bit, I guess.
I guess the lesson here is layering. It's all like multiple versions of simple.
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty much what we always do. Like, just put small stuff
till it sounds good.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes it's just better to just like cut it off and not have too many stuff.
Yeah.
Just make it easy. But in this case, it was really nice to just fill out like stuff everywhere, and doesn't sound like messy or anything like that.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, it's cool working with, not in that way like that. So since we like to produce lots of different genres within electronic music, sometimes it's really nice to just like get a few simple elements and then just stick to that and just make a whole track out of that.
Yeah.
Like, because I know you have some stuff on your computer and there's some stuff on here too that's that's not in that way at all.
Yeah.
So for mastering, we always
use different stuff.
Yeah.
Like we usually go for like wave stuff, like the L2 limiter. Yeah. We have the Keir Juice like free classic limiter that like we use sometimes. We usually use it like in the beginning of the process, and then we maybe switch it out. Then we have the Maximus from FL Studio. That's pretty good, depending on what kind of song we make. Like if we do like more slower, like songs like a little more dirty electro stuff, it sounds good with Maximus from FL. But like now in this case, I think we're using the Vengeance multiband compressor,
and that multiband and the waves. It's like a multiband compressor as well. So it doesn't make sense to put two multiband compressors in a row, but it just gives it that extra punch.
Yeah, I think like the multiband compressor from Vengeance is really nice. Sometimes when you want to like almost like say color your sound, just getting like a nice like feel to it, because like sometimes it's like, oh, there's some like high end missing, or there's too much like bass or whatever, and vendors can just like adjust that in like 2 seconds basically.
Yeah.
In this case, it just worked really well, but sometimes it just bothers us a lot to have that on.
Yeah.
So it always depends, but in this case we use this master, and it's just super simple. And there's a filter to it as well, where we just like low cut some parts of the whole song.
Yeah, to cut up the bass right before the drop usually helps make the drop feel more like, I don't know.
Play the drop, I guess.
Yeah.
Without it.
Okay. This is without any master, like any plugin at all. It's gonna sound. I mean, it's still there, but
it's like dry, right?
yeah.
And then if you put it on, it just gets like, wow,
Yeah,
it just pops.
gives it that extra. It's just-
Yeah, he's like, ooh, what happened? So that's what we really like about like the Vengeance, like Wolfgang compressor, just like color the sound, so to say.
Do you use a commercial mastering facility as well for the releases? Does it all go through?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, most of the times the tracks actually are kind of forced to be mastered to fit like iTunes standard and stuff like that. But I don't know. Sometimes I feel like there's too much mastering going on in today's like music industry, where there's this is a very like very heavy commercially track, but I don't know. I miss some of the dynamics that goes on in music, like it used to go on in music. There's not lots of that left, I guess.
No, but you know, it's like it all depends how it sounds. Like it, like you know, in the end, like this maybe look ridiculous, but it sounds good.
Yeah.
And in some tracks we have like 10 things on the master, right? But this time we just use 3
It's pretty
things
basic,
on it.
yeah. But yeah, sometimes we use third parties for mastering, but they will actually master, since this plays such a big part of our sound. It's like we showed you before in this track. It's like we wouldn't be able to send we wouldn't be able to export the song without having it go through our master, because it sounds like shit. So,
Yeah, I don't think they will be managed to like get it as good without it on.
yeah. So we would actually send the third party mastering company our master, and they would have to master it again, which, you know, it's easy to get it to
Yeah,
master.
I think we did that with the track "Beat Me Up." We had like 10 things on the master and stuff like that, and then
But
when
they worked it out well.
yeah, but there was a guy who mastered it for us just for the iTunes release, and he did really well. He just did some like EQ and stuff like that, I think, and it was just like there was like the last details that it needed, but it was not, you know, huge difference. It was just like the small detail that just made it a little bit better for radio, maybe.
Yeah. I find it hard to work without having our like masters, like our basic master setup, like loaded into the project. I find it hard to work without that, because it's so like, for me, I can't continue to work on something if I don't know it sounds good. It drives me insane to be like, I can't say I'll fix it later. So I could be stuck with a project just, you know, to just get that vibe on the master that I want, and then I can continue doing all the other stuff. Like, 'cause yeah, I just can't.
It depends on like like for me personally, like sometimes it's when I start on something, I can, you know, hate having something on a master, because sometimes it's just if I for instance want to do it like a new sound and have a master on it, it will sound different, you know. So I first started dry, and then I put a master on it, like something, just to see how it sounds with that, and then I change it after the sound, which is pretty much stupid, because you're gonna put drums later on too, and you don't know how it's gonna sound. But that's how we do it, I guess.
So yeah, that was our track One Cry. My name is Alex.
My name is Sebastian.
We are Cassette. Thanks for watching.
Hi, this is Shadow Child. Catch me in the studio with future music next week.